Hello children, good morning. Welcome for today's biology class. So today we are going to see the final part of the chapter biodiversity and conservation. So the topics we are going to cover are reasons for conserving biodiversity and conservation of biodiversity. So why we have to conserve biodiversity? There are three reasons are there. That one is narrow utilitarian value, and second that is broad utilitarian value, and third is ethical argument. So first let us see the narrow utilitarian value. So accordingly, what do they tell? So humans they derive different type of economic benefits from nature in the form of food, cereals, pulses, fruits, vegetables, like that you get, and firewood, fiber, construction material, industrial products. Okay, so that is tannins, lubricants, dyes, resins, perfumes, and also different medicinal plants also there. So plants with medicinal importance, they also provide lot of medicines. Okay, so that's why it has to be conserved, because the plants are useful in various ways. So that's why it has to be protected. So like that this argument tells. And second, so broad utilitarian argument, so what does it tell? Biodiversity, it plays a major role in providing ecosystem services. It cannot be for that, for the ecosystem services you cannot give a price tag. So for production of oxygen, for pollination of flowers, and different type of aesthetic pleasures like bird watching, and also if you are just enjoying that greeneries and all, you can't pay for that. Watching spring flowers, walking through the thick forest, waking up to the bulbul song and all, how can you pay for that? So these ecosystem services, it is a major role, you cannot give a price tag for that. So that's why you have to conserve the ecosystem. That is the second one. Ethical reasons, so what do they tell? Philosophically or spiritually, we have to realize the importance of every species. Every species, it is having some intrinsic value. So we have to make them to survive. Like we are surviving and we are making us to survive. The same way we have to make the other species, maybe it's a plant or any organism, small creatures also, we have to make them to survive. So everything they are having some economic value. Maybe may not be useful nowadays, but it may be useful in future. So that's why it is our moral duty to take care for the well-being. That's why we have to conserve. So like that, so these are the different reasons. Okay, so one is the broad utilitarian argument, second is narrow utilitarian argument, then ethical argument. Like the three arguments, accordingly we have to conserve the nature. How can you conserve the biodiversity? There are two ways to conserve the biodiversity. It can be in situ conservation, that is on-site conservation, or ex situ conservation, that is off-site. Okay, so now let us see the classification. So first is biodiversity conservation. So the biodiversity conservation, there are two types. So it can be in situ or ex situ. In the case of in situ conservation, there are different categories are there. So it can be a protected area. Inside that it can be a national park, sanctuary, biosphere reserve, and the biosphere reserve, it can be terrestrial or marine. Okay, and in the case of ex situ conservation, so it can be we are taking out, that is off site. It can be a home garden, or it can be sacred plant. For example, tulsi plant will never become extinct as we are growing them. Then seed banks, the feed banks, it can be field gene bank, cryopreservation under liquid nitrogen temperature. If you store botanical gardens, zoological parks, aquaria, so all coming under this category. So here this method all are off site, and this method all are in site method. Okay, so here the in situ conservation on site. So that is how do you do? So let us see the differentiation between these two. So in the in situ conservation, protecting the endangered species of plants and animals in their natural habitat, either by protecting or cleaning up the habitat itself, by defending the species from predators and all. So you are protecting the animal in the natural habitat, that you call that as in situ conservation or on site. And ex situ conservation or off site, what do we do? Protecting the endangered species of plants and animals, we are removing from the unsafe place and placing them to the place where it will be under the care of humans, that is off-site. This is the second method. So then, in the case of in situ conservation, it helps in converting the populations in the surroundings where they have developed the distinctive features. Okay, so mainly the population which have distinctive features, so we can recover them. It helps to recover, and here it is helpful to recover the population or preventing extinction under simulated conditions. So we are growing them in a condition closely resembling the natural habitats. So here as such in the surrounding we are growing them. So here the conditions closely resembling to natural habitats. For example, botanical garden, zoos, pollen banks, gene banks, like that, it can be stored. So here example, national park, biosphere reserves, wildlife sanctuaries, sacred forests, and sacred groups are coming under this category. Okay, children. So it can be asked in even 5 mark question also, what differences between ex situ and in situ conservation. So whatever it is there, one thing you have to remember regarding the endemic species, that is endemism. So endemic species, it is a species confined to particular region. So if it is confined to particular region, growing in other place it becomes difficult. So that type of endemic species, it can be protected under the in situ conservation. The place which are having more endemic species, you call them as hotspots also. Okay, so India has no biodiversity hotspots. So apart from that, when you see India, they have about 14 biosphere reserves, 90 national parks, and 448 wildlife sanctuaries are there. It is helpful for that. So for growing the plant under the condition, plant and animals. So here apart from that, different type of this plant, in the world and India, they have taken different type of precautionary measures to conserve the nature. That is, one is Earth Summit. So the Earth Summit, it was conducted in 1992 to take appropriate measures for conservation of biodiversity. So here what is the Earth Summit and the World Summit asked? From the book you can get the answer. So it is the Earth Summit, it was conducted in 1992. So it is for all nations, they have to take appropriate measures for conservation of biodiversity. And the World Summit, it held on 2002. Okay, and here about 190 countries they pledged to achieve the reduction in the and also to conserve the biodiversity. The loss of biodiversity should be reduced. Reduction in loss of biodiversity and conservation, and to increase the number, to protect the species. They all of them they pledged in that World Summit. So Earth Summit and World Summit, sometime it is historic events in biodiversity protection. So that also you have to remember, children. So Earth Summit was in 1992 and the World Summit it was in 2002, children. Okay, so you also pledge to conserve the nature, to conserve the biodiversity at the end of chapter. So you are the future citizens, so it is your duty, you have to conserve the nature, children. Okay.